So Jezebel is back on the scene, and this time she's coming in the form of Amber Heard. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I'm finally talking about this, and I honestly feel like I missed the wave because I was like about like a week ago when I all of a sudden out of nowhere I first heard about it and then just haven't gone to say anything. But I'm glad I waited because things have developed. And so I'm not going to comment so much on everything that's going on in the informative stuff because you can go and find those with other people's videos. What I want to talk about is the Jezebel that is Amber Heard and the issues that I have with Hollyweird and this world we live in and this toxic femininity that we're going to be talking about today. So if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Even if you don't agree, I still want to hear from you. And other than that, hit the like button. But yeah, let's get into this, guys, because I'm just like, when I heard this whole story, can I just say that my heart broke for Johnny Depp. My heart absolutely broke for Johnny Depp because he went through the classic scenario that a lot of people do when they become a victim of some kind of an evil entity, the person who has decided to make themselves a vessel for darkness, right? A vessel for the kingdom of darkness, which is that, he went through a lot as a result. I basically discovered that, even him doing drugs and alcohol and stuff, people were like, oh, he's like falling off the edge, because apparently in the end, one of the Pirates of the Caribbean that he was filming, and he was amazing in that. He's an amazing actor. I think he's absolutely amazing actor. He's like definitely one of like probably one of my favorites in, although that when I say my favorites, that list of favorites is probably like 30 or 40 people, but anyway, it doesn't matter. I think he's a fantastic actor. I really think he's a fantastic actor, and to see that he started doing all these drugs and stuff, it was because of what he was going through. And this is like what I always say. It's like I always say that people don't just do something for nothing. Usually there is a cause. There is a cause and effect, they say, right? Cause and effect. I think it's so easy for us, and we did. This is what everybody did with Britney. It was the same thing. As soon as she seemed like she couldn't cope well with whatever, people automatically assumed, oh, it's the fame. This is the same thing they said about Johnny Depp. Oh, it's it's the career that's getting to them. I'm telling you, from my research, I rarely see like famous people, celebrities, entertainers, or whatever. I rarely see them having their mental health issues or their addiction struggles or whatever as a result of their actual job. It's almost never, from my research, I'm yet to find one that is because of the actual job. When I say the actual job, I mean what they're supposed to do, not if they're being exploited in it. Like, for example, obviously we talked about Little Mix. They've been like, and like Fifth Harmony and a lot of these guys who are asked to do way more than they should have had to do, right? So we're not talking about when they've been exploited. I'm talking about they're able to do their job. They're capable. Like I said about Britney Spears, even up to 2019, even though she was on all these drugs that her dad and her family had her on, and Lucifer Taylor, she was still teaching her own dancers. She was still doing her Vegas residency. So I say all of that to say that once again, we're finding ourselves in a situation where we all ran to one side of the coin. We all ran to one perspective, right? And it turns out that we were wrong. And I saw the footage. I saw the footage of the police who came forward to show what actually happened on the day that Amber tried to say that she had been in, like, he'd been physical with her, and there was a whole ruckus, and apparently things were broken, and they literally came in and they would just chill. And this is why I want to talk about her as the next iteration of Jezebel that was coming to the forefront. In fact, I might make a whole little mini playlist called the Jezebels. I think that I like that. And obviously Jada's going to be the one to go in there before that. So now we're in a situation where he's been through so much and the damage is done. Like, this is the other thing. They were both at the same like movie studios, I believe. It was either this. Why is the camera keep doing that? Anyway, they were at the same movie studios or whatever, and what he was filming at the time, or his career, basically got put on pause because of what everything was going on. But she was allowed to continue, right? And I kind of have a problem with that. And the reason why I have a problem with that is because they were both making claims. He was kind of saying it was her. She was saying it was him. Again, classic gaslighting technique of people who are either narcissistic or just demonic. The first thing, the easiest thing someone can do to cause confusion is you say that this person did it and that person says you did it. And if you guys are the only ones who were there, that's all the other person needs to do to cause chaos in that situation. And so I feel like that's what she did. As a result of that, they should have stopped what she was doing. But no, she's continuing on acting in Aquaman. And guess what? Now other people coming out of the woodwork talking about how she was to actually deal with, you know, and how she is. And it's turning out the more and more we're looking at it, she's looking like she's a pathological liar. And let me tell you guys why I'm calling her a Jezebel. Because you see, Jezebels, and this is why I did a whole video about witches versus angels. Y'all should check it out. And in there I said that a woman, if you have a woman in your life and you're a man, she's either going to be a witch to you or an angel. There's like no in between. She's either going to be like, oh my gosh, the biggest blessing, the greatest thing that happened to you, such a relief, you know, you feel comfortable around her, you feel safe around her, blah, 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 blah. Or she's going to cause you chaos. You're going to be fighting to try and make her happy. She's going to be playing games with you. She's going to be bringing things out of you that you don't want to have brought out of yourself, and all these things, right? But here's a catch. Just like Jada, right? Amber, for the most part, was the one still taking the W's, even while Johnny was taking L's. And this is what happens a lot of the time. A lot of the time, these Jezebels get away with it. And Jezebel is actually a reference to an actual person in the Bible, an actual woman. She was married to King Ahab. Ahab was just like doing absolutely everything opposite of what God had told him to do. And I'll tell you how crazy it is. At the time when he became king, I believe it was in Jerusalem, God had made this whole thing after like the Israelites had destroyed Jericho. You probably heard that story. Ahab then and then they declared that land of Jericho God declared it was never to be rebuilt ever again. And then Joshua cursed the land. Joshua was the one leading the people out. So then fast forward now all the way into 1 Kings in the Bible, and Ahab gets made king, right, in Jerusalem. I think it's Jerusalem, but anyway, of Israel or Jerusalem, one of the two. Anyway, and under his leadership, under his kingship, they just start to put up all these altars to all these other gods, these demonic gods that he marries into Jezebel. She's actually the one who brought him his knowledge of these other weird gods into the mix. It's actually her, the Baal and all these other gods and whatever. And then the other guy there decides this is what they do. This is what they're doing. The other guy that's there with them literally has to sacrifice his first and last child to be able to rebuild like the wall and the gates. I think it's either the wall and the gates of Jericho. And I'm like, this is what these kind of people do. And let me just say that the reason why I highlight this story is because Jezebel was the one who came to marry Ahab, right? And she brought all her gods with her. That's where all her gods came from. Because Ahab, if he was a king in Egypt, if he was going to be king over, you know, like the Lord's people, it's supposed to be the actual king, like that represents the Lord. But guess what happened? How did it go downhill? He got involved with Jezebel. And that's where the idea of Jezebel comes from. And the Jezebel spirits in this day and age, they operate the exact same way. Yes, there is an actual spirit, demonic spirit called the Jezebel spirit. And they are there, multiple of them, and you can find them in people. Again, I said this in another video. If you want to see how real that is, search on YouTube, getting delivered from the Jezebel spirit, or watching deliverance of the Jezebel spirit, or something like that, and you will see it, and it is there. Why am I explaining all of this? Because a lot of these things are important, because I say this all the time. Everything that happens like in the natural world, there is like a spiritual element to it. And when you behave in a certain way, when you open yourself up to behave in a certain way, you're opening a door to something. When Amber decided that she was going to be manipulative, when she decided that she was going to take advantage of him, when she decided she was going to start lying on his name and whatever, she opened the door to allow herself to be a vessel for darkness. And therefore, the darkness became stronger and stronger in her, right? This is why our decisions, right, are so impactful. Now, I really believe that the reason why Johnny Depp is finally going to get his justice is because good will always win, and the Lord will always have his way in the end, because he is just, and therefore he will always make sure there will be justice at the end of the day. The only thing is that God's version of a day and our version of a day is very different. Very, very different. But I think that, like, this is how she behaved. This is classic. And you start to see these. This is how you know it's evil as well and it's demonic, is you start to see trends. This was one thing I realized. When you see a certain trend, and it's like you'll see the same exact situation, like the same exact maybe not characteristics, what's the word, like same exact like specific things will happen, but it will be in different situations, right? And so, for example, the reason why I called her the next Jezebel is because we've got Jada and Will, and we've got Johnny Depp and Amber. We have Jada and Will and everything they went through. Everything that Jada did made her more famous. She always took the win. Over time, Will started to take more L's. You have Johnny Depp and Amber. Over time, she's starting to take more wins, right? And he's taking losses as a result of her. You see what I mean? It's like the same thing. When it comes down to it, people then, it's hard for people to defend. People are more likely to, and this is the trick of a Jezebel and why this works, because of women as well, but men can have Jezebel spirits too. It's because then what happens is the woman plays up to the seductress element, and there's even a bit in the Bible that talks about Jezebel, like when Jehu came to kill her, basically, which is how she finally died. Well, in fact, her own eunuchs turned on her when they saw Jehu, and they threw her over the balcony. So, love the Bible. And when Jehu came, the guy who was gonna like get rid of her, because he was like, I don't know how you people have been letting this woman run rampant in this place. She was just there doing her makeup on the balcony, like loving herself, like worshipping herself. Like, can you understand the vibe of this type of person? Are you guys catching where we're going with this? Are you seeing what we're talking about here? You know what I mean? That kind of just like vain sense of like self-obsession, like doing what I'm doing, controlling a man from behind the scenes, but no one really knows, but actually I'm having massive impact on his life. And like for Johnny Depp, God bless him, right? His daughter came forward, was like how he was so nice. His ex-wives, like both of them, and one of them he had actually left, I think, like he left her pretty abruptly for Amber, and she still came forward and was like, he's such a lovely man, blah blah blah. I was just like, so, and this is the power. This is why, guys, I'm telling you, sometimes, you know, when the Bible says things and it makes sense, there's a reason why God does not encourage us to just be out here with anybody and everybody, because you never know who you're getting involved with, and you never know where you're going to be. Because most of us, if we knew, most people who've been, especially if you've been in any kind of manipulative, toxic, narcissistic relationship, if you knew that was the person, that person was going to be like that when you first got with them, of course you would have never been with them. But these people know how to play the games, especially when they've opened the door to the kingdom of darkness. And the kingdom of darkness knows even better, because the kingdom of darkness has been around for a long time. So they're like, oh, we know exactly how to manipulate humans. We know exactly. Right? And a lot of people do it willingly and knowingly. A lot of people, and I wouldn't be surprised. I feel like with Jada, I wouldn't be surprised if she's full-blown witching it behind the closed doors. Like, if they've got like a basement in their house that Will doesn't have access to, if she's going out at 3 a.m., you know, to go and meet the gals, I don't know, or band practice at 3 a.m., I wouldn't be surprised if she's doing full-blown witchcraft in order. And this is the scary thing, guys, about witchcraft. I talk about it on here as well, is that when people actually choose to actively operate in it, you can make deals with the devil. Like, people do that. And the types of deals people make, some people think of like, oh, witchcraft is just, you know, making something you want happen. Guess what people do? People go there and they'll be like, listen, I want to get rich. How do I get rich? Well, we need, in order for you to be rich, we need a sacrifice. We need something. We'll sacrifice my husband's career. Do you see what I mean? Because these types of things, like what Amber's doing, what Jada's doing, all these women, this is what opens the door for those types of things. And you might think it sounds crazy in the beginning. A lot of people might think it will never get to that point, but you'd be surprised how desperate people get. And you'll be very also surprised how beautiful the deal the devil will bring to you to tempt you. It'll be something you like, this is a once, you know when people say this is a once in a lifetime opportunity? Yeah, so I feel bad for Johnny. I'm glad he's finally getting his justice. I feel robbed on his behalf, although I'm not him, and so I feel worse for him. But I feel robbed on his behalf that he lost opportunities and his career, not his career, but even reputation and stuff as a result of the things that this woman did. You know, I feel I'm irritated in society that, again, we are very like, oh my gosh, the women are always the victim. We're not always the victim. Sometimes it's the gentleman that are the victim. And for me, I really think there needs to be stronger laws against women who do these types of things, like lying on a man's name, especially lying about violence, lying about, you know, rape and all that stuff. I think there needs to be, I think personally, I think women who lie that a man, you know, raped them, who didn't do it or something like that, I think they should get the exact same sentence that the man would have got if he had actually done it. That's what I think. Because it's like, we are in a society, and these are the things that annoy me. This is why it annoys me when women come out and say things that are not true, because at the end of the day, right, men are genetically stronger than women. They're stronger than women, okay? So yes, as a woman, we generally are always going to be aware of the fact that if you're around a man, even if that man might be smaller in stature than you, chances are he's stronger than you. Chances are he can overpower you, right? So that is something that as a woman can be frightening, genuinely, right? But knowing that, let's not add to the situation by lying, by in any way, shape, or form, which then makes it hard for the people who actually are going through those things. Because it's like the same thing that bothered me with the whole Prince Andrew thing. Like Prince Andrew and Virginia Roberts taking this settlement from Prince Andrew that was out of court, sealed, whatever, right? That makes it seem like if she had got justice and she'd gone through with it, you know, the Virginia Roberts situation, she was the one who's one of the victims of Jeffrey Epstein, etc., etc. She was going to sue Prince Andrew. He was supposed to go to have a deposition in March. Ended up not happening because literally, like, I think it was 10 days before they signed this settlement out of court. There was no judge there. It was private. It was sealed and everything. Where he paid a certain amount of money into a charity or whatever. And it's like, as much as let's now for one, people who are supporting her have to now, like me, have to question, well, was I wrong to think of Prince Andrew as a sexual abuser? Because now we don't even have the court evidence, at least, to say that he was guilty or something, or like the whatever. Obviously we weren't there, so we can't say anything. But more than that, it's like if somebody else now does something, we're just we're setting the stage to make it so much more difficult for people who actually go through this stuff, for women who actually go through the types of things Amber Heard was accusing what's his name Johnny Depp of, you know, stuff like that. So it just it really irks me, this type of stuff. It really bothers me, it really does, you know, because a lot of guys, and Johnny Depp seems like such a lovely man, like he seems like such a lovely man. I wish he just stayed with his previous wife, not be caught up in Amber. And you see how funny it is as well, how why is it that he felt so compelled to leave his previous wife for her? It's that Jezebel pull, right? That's why even the Bible says resist the devil and he shall flee, because it's like, listen, it's gonna be tempting, there's temptation, okay, but sometimes you have to overcome it. Of course you can't always know, like, and I don't think he knew. I think if he knew that this is how it was going to go down, of course he wouldn't have said yes. He would have been like, no, I'm staying here. But it didn't take long. I think it was like 2 years before they were having problems anyway. And she's still thriving and just lying. And then, you know, and then in the end, I think, I'm not sure if, I can't remember exactly, but I think he at least started working less as a result. Yeah, because, you know, like, you lose a reputation, people hear of you or something, they obviously don't want to book you in a movie, because why are they going to put you in a movie or in a TV series when no one's going to show up because they heard that you've been beating up women and stuff? Like, this is very problematic for me. Like, and I think for us in society, this is very problematic, and we need to stop just saying things. As women, we need to be very careful. Like, we really do. And I think that the reason why she's doing stuff like this is because it's demonic. And you see how, do you know how you know it's demonic as well? Because you see, the devil is good at he's good at killing 2 birds with 1 stone. He's good at killing like 3 birds, 4 birds, 5 birds with 1 stone. Because I'll tell you how he does this. The first bird that was killed was Johnny's career. Second bird that was killed was a lot of men's probably trust in women, or desire for women, or opinion of women. Third thing that was destroyed, the hope potentially for people who've actually gone through that to be taken seriously, right? And then again, the other thing that could also be destroyed is the reverse of the likelihood of judges actually taking these things seriously. Because the more times that these things happen, the less people are going to take it seriously. Like, and that's why I'm saying the devil is so smart. He knows exactly what he's doing, and all he wants to do is cause mass destruction. Like the Bible says, the enemy comes to kill, steal, and destroy. Destroy. He didn't come to be fun, play fun and games. He didn't come to be your friend. Do you know what I mean? Anyways, you guys let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. I would love to hear. Should I make a playlist called the Jezebels? I don't know who else is going to be the next Jezebel to pop up, but I feel like in this season where, like, God is just showing so many different things that are happening, and so many people are getting justice in this season, and or judgment, whether that's good or bad in your case. I feel like there's just going to be so many different people getting justice in this season, which I'm really happy about. So maybe we should be doing that to expose other people if they come up, obviously. Anyways, other than that, guys, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. I'd really appreciate it. Don't forget to let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. And like the video. Other than that, God bless you all, and I'll see you in my next one. Goodbye.